Hi, Matthew. We're doing a monthly topic on should marijuana be legalized? In your opinion, why do you think that society perceives marijuana as a negative influence?
Um, well, before 60 or 70 years ago, it wasn't. Um, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the whole war on drugs had began, and unfortunately, marijuana got grouped in with all the rest. And even though there are actually a couple others that are illegal that shouldn't, marijuana is one of them, and just unfortunately one of the ones that there's a war on.
What do you think the difference is from the way that it was perceived in the 70s and 80s as opposed to the way that it's perceived now?
To a lot of people, I think I wasn't around then, so this is mostly a guess. In the 70s and 80s, it was seen as more of a hippie thing, and now it's just seen as a thing that stoners do. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of difference between a stoner and a hippie, but maybe the only difference is flowers.
Do you think that marijuana is abused?
Yes, just like everything else in life.
What kind of people do you believe, if so, could benefit from smoking marijuana and why?
There was a video I watched of a 15 or so year old kid. He had, I want to say it's multiple sclerosis. I'm not 100% sure what he had, but he could not speak properly. He stuttered his words constantly. He had tremors and didn't move very well. And after taking a hit of marijuana, he was completely normal. So people like that can clearly benefit from marijuana use.
What do you think is worse, cigarettes, alcohol, or marijuana, and why?
In terms of total death, cigarettes. In terms of uh, acuteness of the problems, I would go with marijuana. Or sorry, not. I would go with alcohol, and the least of the three in all categories would have to be marijuana.
As stated by an anonymous user on the website marijuana.com, in the legalization decriminalization forum, he writes, I think it is time for a new war on drugs. Do you believe that trying to legalize marijuana should be referred to as a war?
I think we take the word war a bit too lightly these days. War is a very, very horrible thing involving the deaths of countless people. When you think of murder, you think of it as a horrible thing, but then you go and think of war, and it doesn't quite seem as bad, even though it's the same thing on a much larger scale. So to say that there's a war to legalize marijuana, I think it's bad. To say that there's a war on drugs, I think it's bad. Even the war on terrorism, I wouldn't necessarily call a war. That's a whole other topic, I guess, though.
Thank you so much.
No problem.